Things perpetuate today. Some of my little homeboys, they zone it, and I love them dearly, and I love my community here. That's why I'm here. And so we're talking about my story is a reflection of millions of young black males across America, not only right here in Zone 8 in Detroit, where my book it openly discusses the social phenomenon of black familyhood, mother raising boys by themselves, or raising kids by themselves, and the father's not there, whether on drugs, selling drugs, or incarcerated. My father, he was incarcerated, so I really didn't know my father, but I knew images of my father where people would say, well, you act just like him, you get in trouble just like him. So actually, with him not being there, he was really there, based upon what those people were saying, so I would cling on to those things, and I developed myself based upon that wrong information that was given to me. I began to get in trouble, got kicked out of every Detroit public school I went to, except for one. I gave my mama pure social hell. Whether right or wrong, she was always there though, in my corner, supporting me, loving me. She did her damnedest to love me to do right, but it was things that I was missing in my life, and due to my mother also becoming an alcoholic. While she was abused alcoholic, I was abused in the streets, so it was a conflict of interest between the two of us, and we didn't know how to coexist. I was a young man full of anger, confused, and to deal with my anger, I began to fight. Fighting became a way of releasing it on people. I didn't wake up to like I'm gonna go jump on this person. Jumping down on that person, it just became a way of life for me. Trouble found me most of the time, because again, there was nothing there to engage me or my childhood friend, something positive. My mother made a decision only a mother would make. I was 15 years old, but she made me a ward of the state. And upon making me a ward of the state, that was the only option my mother had to save me from myself. I can only imagine the internal battle she had in making that decision. Because no mother gives birth to their child to keep them locked up, taken away from them. And so when my mother took me to court, I'm thinking it was just a regular routine thing. She stands up and says, I can't do nothing else with this Negro. God had me. And I felt betrayed, I felt hurt. But slowly but surely, I analyzed it and got something out of it, but due to my undevelopedness, I couldn't get out what I needed to, which was, I caused that situation. I was unaware that I was jeopardizing my mother and my two sisters' lives when God come knocking on the door and literally shot at the door, trying to shoot me. And unfortunately, it didn't shoot me, and it didn't harm nobody in the house. But as I reflect now, just imagine if he was one of the real hardcore guys that really didn't give a fuck. Kicked the door in, my mother in there, my sister in there, and then shortly after that, God came into a firebomb at the house, not because of my mother and sister, because of me, things I was doing. But again, I'm so bathed in this ignorant mentality that I don't realize that I'm putting my mother's and my sister's lives at risk. So those decisions, that decision my mother made was based upon those acts and decisions that I was making. I spent like a year and a half at Master Training School. It helped me somewhat. In some way, it didn't help me. One way it did help me, I began to correspond with my father for the first time. Me and my mother, for the first time, we was able to sit down in an environment that where she wasn't drinking, I wasn't too busy trying to get to the streets, but we were able to deal with some of the problems that we had. But it really didn't help me find identity within myself. It really didn't dig deep. I dealt with the surface of the things. So when I came home, I chose not to go back to Northwestern High School. Well, I didn't go there at the time anyway, because I knew I had enemies there and I had friends there. So I wanted to give myself a realistic chance. I ended up going to Northern. I'm doing good grades for the first time ever in my life. I had teachers, patting me on my back. I'm working. Everybody's put me up on this high pedestal, but I'm scared because this is the first time I've ever done anything good, right. But the things I'm doing good and right is not for me. It's for my mother. It's for the girl I'm dating at the time. It's for the teacher, and swimming in this new territory is scared the shit out of me. Where I'm like, what am I gonna do? I got a professor talking about he's gonna help me go to college. I'm like, what the hell is college? I got uncles that went to college but never sat down and shared that experience with me. I know what a thug is. I know what a gangster is, but I don't necessarily want to do that because I know the pain that it's caused my mother. So I'm at a pivotal point in my life and making a decision like, what you gonna do? And the decision I made was try to kill myself. Because again, I was afraid of positive success. And as you see, I was unsuccessful. I took some antibiotics, and my mother caught me. And when she took me down to Children, they let me out the next day. I went back to what I knew best, which was gangbanging, running the streets. I wasn't the same person though. I didn't have the same desire. But I'm just going with the motion because again, it felt good, it felt comfortable to do these type of things. Unfortunately, due to me being back in the streets and my history period of being a street guy, I would get convicted of assault with attempt around unarmed. I didn't do the crime, however, due to my history, it influenced the decision of me being convicted. I look at it as my curse and my blessing. I recognize the curse. I don't wish prison on no one. I mean, you have to be there to really to gather even the state of being incarcerated, the state of somebody telling you when you can eat, how much you can eat, when you got to go to bed, and a lot of other different things. I recognize my blessings. I met my father in prison. I met my father in prison. I know he was there. Again, like I say, he had been there since I was age 10. We initially began to start corresponding with each other. Cause I was still up under the influence of a Zone 8 thug, so I'm engaging in thug behavior. I'm just doing a lot of crazy, wild stuff. I'm hooking up with other young guys that we further supporting the stupid stuff. And I was blessed not to get stabbed, knocked upside the head because of some of the things I was doing. And I'm in a hole. And when I get out the hole, I'm like, damn, what you gonna do? So I'm trying to look for somebody to convey in, give me some direction. So like, let me roll the dice with my father, call my grandfather, get the address. We really don't have a relationship, but I know I got a better chance in dealing with him than these other guys. At least we got blood. And when I rolled in, I'm like, man, I don't want to hear one of my told you so speeches or scold me, none of that shit. I'm here, woo, because I thought that's all you're gonna say, man. I've been trying to reach you. I've been trying to tell you you're going to end up here. And if he'd have told me that, our relationship, we wouldn't have had a relationship because, at that time, I'm pretty sure you all be in a situation in your life, you did wrong. You don't want to hear you did wrong. You want to hear, that's just the human nature of being people. And then if you can support me, then you can criticize me or chastise me because you're showing me love first, instead of hating, anger, and all the other things. So when he wrote me back, he said, people make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. It's something wrong if you don't learn from your mistakes. So when he said that was just lifted the world off my shoulders, and we began to correspond. And I really couldn't comprehend the letters because, again, my mind was still dangling and seeing the world through the eyes of his own thug. But I understood the essence of what he was saying. I felt the love, I felt the compassion. I felt the sincere father desire to want to be a father to a son due to our incarceration. And I couldn't wait to get his letters. I was going to go in the room by myself and read them. But I was still getting in trouble. And during that time, I found out myself that I had a son on the way. This is November. I'm like 9 months in. My son is due December, the next month. Actually, a friend of mine that wrote me, like, he addressed in the letter, "What's up, Daddy?" "What's up, Daddy?" Further read, like, Ankie's about to have a baby and you're the father. I'm like, for real, damn. And I write it back, like, I write Ankie, like, what's up? You about to have a baby, I'm the father. And she didn't write me back. I ended up getting transferred December 3rd. That's the day my son was born. I ended up going, I was in the hole for assault and battery. Ended up going to MR. MR is a level 4 prison. It's locked down 23 hours a day. It was one of the most scary moments of my life. Now I'm at prison. Before I'm at MTU, it's new wave prison, luxury. You got big color TVs in the day room. You got microwaves. It's not bars, it's doors. You got bunkies. And more, it's a yard. Maybe 20 phones on there. When you go to the yard, you running, fighting to get to this phone. Actually, I remember one time, me and this one guy, we were so close when I would be on the phone, his back would be against my back. Cause, you never know. But then that became a new education for myself, and now I'm with the big boys in regard to, they play by different rules. And when I was in the hole, my mother and my son's mother came to see me in February for my 20th birthday. And when I went to the visit, it was a non-contact visit, so it was glass that separated us. And my mother, she throwing a bunch of questions at me. Why you in the hole? Why they got you in chains? Whoopity whoop. And I'm like, it's coming at me so fast. I really don't even can't comprehend my circumstances to even explain it to her, you know. And for that moment in my life, I wanted to be so bad a son to my mother, possibly be a man to my son's mother. You know, I wanted to do the right thing, but there's a big question mark in my life at that time. How do I do the right thing? What is the right thing? So I went back to my room that night, or my cell, and I thought, and I realized, like, damn, you know, you're a father, you ain't ready to be a father. You haven't even begun to comprehend what got you to prison, what you gonna do while you in prison. More importantly, what you gonna do once you get out of prison. But the bridge had began to build for me to answer those questions, this relationship. I was developing my father and the things that he was conveying in my letter, in his letters. And they would tell me I would be transferred. So I really brushed it off. Because, like I said, once I got there, most everybody in the whole was on the transfer list. So I was like maybe 100 person when they let me out. And I began to read the autobiography of Malcolm X. And all of a sudden I got a duffel bag like 2 weeks later, like, you transferring. I'm like, damn, for real? And they say, you going up to Alger Max. I'm like, for real? That's where my father's at. So within 24 hours, I'll be at the same prison my father's at. So when you're on a bus and you can get maybe 2 prisoners up to 20 prisoners, going to the same prison or different prisons. And I ain't talking to nobody. I'm just focused. Man, less than a couple hours, I'm be where my father's at. And when I get there, I began to, you know, yearn to see my father. But in the process, I got to use the bathroom. When you get in prison, you got to go through the routine of getting sit down and all this. So I first made my decision of resisting the prison administration in the right way. Where I pissed on myself. When I pissed on myself, I had to use the bathroom. They wouldn't let me use the bathroom. So I'm like, well, you gonna shave me down? You gonna shave down some pissy gloves then? You gonna make me wait? And something happened that was really had a profound impact on me, because as I was walking, we had 3 housing units, and the guard that was walking, I'm like, you know Richard Carter? And described my father. He had sent me some pictures. He's like, yeah, I know him. He's like, man, that's a good guy. And it was a white prison guard, and he was talking highly of this black prisoner in prison. You know, that's very uncommon. So that right there, like, damn, my father is, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, he is what he's telling me in his letters, you know. It will be maybe about a week or 2 weeks before we actually get to seizure, because, again, we're in the maximum security prison. Everything is ran tightly, secured. You lock down 23 hours a day. On time you might see someone else unless you go to the library together or go to the gym to work out. So we end up getting on or the religious service. So we end up going to the library together, and we go to religious service. And then the first time he was like, man, the precious gift that a father gives to a son is his time. Up to this point, I've been neglecting giving you my time, and right now I'm gonna do all I can. And who he was more evident in who he was through his actions. Now he was saying a lot of positive and deep things to me, but they was confirming who he was as a man. You know, guys that I was housing unit I was with who had been knowing my father, you know, 6, 7, 8 years. And I had nothing but hot things to say of my father. I remember he was telling me one time, you know, throughout his duration in prison, you couldn't go to no one prison and find one prison saying anything bad about him. And I'm like, damn, that's deep. Because, I mean, again, you have to be the prison. Because at one prison you can be one way, another prison you can be a homosexual. I mean, this depending on the circumstances, guys change. But for my father, you know, he was a constant guy of change. You know, he would say, for man to know, man has to be about what he knows. So he would, you know, say things that began to impact me, and more important, he painted an image in my mind of what I could become. For every boy, he wants to be like his father. More importantly, here's an opportunity for me to fulfill my destiny. I want to be like my father in a positive and productive way. We ended up serving like 6 months together there, and he left first. And I know from that time when he left that he could sleep at ease at night now, knowing that he prepared his son to be able to travel through this maze without engaging in negative and self-defeating ways. I was going to serve 9 years. I earned my GED there. I went from a guy that could barely read and write to now I was functioning on the college level. Actually, when I finally got in school, I passed the GED with a snap of a finger, because I was prepared. I was reading books on a month average. I maybe read like 20 books a month, or not more, depending on how many books I could get my hands on. I got to the point where I was ordering my own books. You know, these things I learned from my father. You know, he had two Foot Lockers. One was his personal books, one was for his legal library. We would be able to see each other one more time before I left before I would be released from prison. And that was a very beautiful time for me, because again, when we was together the first time, he saw a boy in front of him. Now he sees a man. And we was there shortly, maybe a day and a half, because when we was in Carson City got like 3 prisons on this big ass plantation, just separated by gates. And we both kind of knew I wouldn't be there long, because I was short, close to getting home. And after that time, I was getting a lot of flops and out the road. And he walked me to the gate. So as I was going to the other prison, he had tears in his eyes, and he said, they can keep the lion caged, but the cub must go free. And meaning that, even once I leave, part of him is out here with me. So when you see me and hear me speaking, you're hearing my father, and you're seeing a reflection of a man that became a father to me when I needed it most. And as I talk about my book, the things I went through in the streets, I learned from my mother. I didn't really get into the depth of my mother's life. And watching her survive taught me how to survive in the streets. So she was my hero in that aspect, and my father became my mentor, because he mentored me through that situation. I came home January 1st, 2001. It'll be 9 years since I've been home. I've graduated from college. I read my book, got my own bookstore. I've been a Hair Start teacher. Just doing a lot of great things in regards to using my life as a testimony to change. I published my own book. I'm my own distributor. I'm doing everything predominantly by myself. As Bible Simmons said it best, I'm making a way out of no way. Actually, I epitomized it, making $1 out of 15 cents. For real. I've been able to utilize different things, bringing different people together, in particular, shine a light on this community, Zone 8. I love to death. Actually, I'm impressed when I die. Bury me somewhere right here in Zone 8. And, because I love my neighborhood. And one of the things, the actions I'm doing is really just about putting the neighbor back into the hood. Stop calling our hoods a hood. We live in neighborhoods. We don't live in hoods. The only thing I know is this in the hoods is thugs, gangsters, hoodlums, prostitutes, and et cetera. But you talk about a neighborhood. You have those same elements, but they're not at the center. They're not at the forefront. Those things are somewhat buried away, and they happen periodically, not every day. And we walk outside and we say, well, that was just JoJo and them doing what they do, and we just drive off like it's okay. When kids hear bullet shots, they acting like it's firecrackers instead of it's really gunshots. They possibly can die from that. And again, we got to begin back to get engaged in our community. Some of the things I've been doing right here directing in Zone 8 is, for the second year, I've done not free, but back to school supply giveaways right around the corner. My mother still stays in the same house I grew up in. So we taking actions or words and making them action. This year I had Ken Cockrell. He got involved with me, raised $2,000 in addition to the $2,000 I've raised. A few other people I work with, and more importantly, I love what I'm doing, because I ain't two-stepping. I'm bringing it raw, bringing it real. And then you had the opportunity to know me and follow me. I'm very passionate about the situation of young black males, and particularly here in Detroit, and because I'm here every day. When I leave from a city council meeting, I'm coming right back to Zone 8. When I was talking to a group of kids with a young man that got shot at the Considine Center a couple of weeks ago. I was speaking to some of his classmates, and some of the guys they think, because they're so used to guys coming and talking to them, and they go across 8 Mile. They never see him again. And I'm like, man, when I spoke at the Northwestern last year, like I got up here mostly the same way like a lot of y'all did. I walked up here. I walked from my mama's house, And it's a different feeling, different effect, because now you're tangible. I've been blessed to be on 107.5 with Mason a year and a half straight, and I give my number all the times, and some people, they're like, man, I didn't think I'd be able to catch you. I thought I was going to talk to somebody else. No, just getting away from that old prestigious mentality, classism, I don't get caught up on the press clippings, I don't get caught up on different things, because it's about saving lives, I don't promote my story as a rags to riches story, but a rags to liberation. Liberating souls, liberating minds, liberating my community, where another young man, another young woman doesn't have to experience what I experienced. That's what it's about to me at the end of the day. But also understanding it's a business. With my bookstore, creating a new model, support my business. You're supporting me, the things I'm doing, which is practical, which is investing right back into the community that I grew up in, and throughout, and creating a model for other communities to want to implement in their community. Things I'm doing, I haven't received any grants, And I'm not anti-grants, but what I am is anti-people that use those grants for themselves instead of for the people. You know, people first. That's who Yusef Shakur is. You know, the book been out a year and a half now. This January I'll be home 9 years. So we're looking at doing a big celebration, 9 years in, 9 years out. So I'll be re-releasing my soundtrack to my book, re-releasing my documentary. I'll be on the 4th edition of The Window to My Soul. I've sold 2,000 copies without being in any major bookstores in the city of Detroit. So if you're interested in contacting me, go to my website, which is Yusef, Y-U-S-E-F, Shakur, SHAKUR.org. It has the address to the bookstore, the aisle. And I also have my phone number on that. Again, it's my direct. It's not an answer machine. It's not someone else gonna answer it. I'm gonna answer it. My direct line. And just engaging in the community, making a difference. I think Detroit can be a lot better if we as a community, we as a people, depend on ourselves to get out of this mentality that the political officials that we elect are like God-like. And when they don't serve us like God-like, we get mad. You know, we have the power and the ability. I mean, things Hush House is doing right here is powerful. The thing I'm doing around the corner, and we just have to bring those powers together. Well, now we have a superpower. Bring together with what Box Center is doing on the east side, and other people throughout the community, which you may be doing. That's a superpower. We're sharing our resources, we're sharing our networking tools, and we're making a positive and productive effect on the ground zero level, and we're moving people to organize themselves to begin to take pride. Because if you take pride in yourself, then you won't tolerate certain things. You won't tolerate people to talk to you a certain way. You won't tolerate to come in and say, I'm going to do this, but then realistically, they can't do a damn thing for you. You know, because I mean, it's like when I went to prison, and my father, early on, he was talking about as far as me appealing my case, and my mother was getting me a lawyer and whatnot. He was like, man, if you don't get in life all the way there and research it yourself, it don't mean a damn thing. What the lawyer you gonna do? Because he ain't gonna fight harder for your case. Because he ain't locked up. You the one locked up. You know what I'm saying? We the one suffering what we suffer in our communities, and if we don't make a difference, we don't make a change. And also, we don't just share this with you as well. You know, in relation to like what happened with the couple near Cody 9 High School with a young man that shot those people at the bus stop. It was a tragedy, but out of that tragedy, what happened? Warren Evans became the chief of police. So, out of certain tragedies in this city, people benefit from it, you know, and most of us suffer from it. You know, those young men still at large, other people, and the sad thing about it, you know, we concentrate on those young men, but we forget about the thousands of young men that think like that. And by thinking like that, you know, we need to attack that mindset and be aware we can save a lot of situations like that. You know, those efforts, that extra money that was given to Warren Evans, come on, it could have went to Oakland, like right here in Zone A. There's no recreation center. There's nothing for young folks. I mean, crime is recreation for them. I mean, it's just real. I mean, so how do we attack that? I mean, many of these young men and young women have been taught the right way. But however, for myself, I lived a double life. I lived a life my grandmother and my mother raised me, which was to be respectful, say yes and no. But I also, when I was away from them, I lived a life the streets had taught me. So again, that's me, Yusef Shakur. Thank you.